A question that I get asked fairly often is, what got you into AirCrete? Why do you choose to use it? And to get to that story, I really should start with explaining how AirCrete ruined my life. So, like most people, I worked a job, with my useless education that didn't prepare me for anything whatsoever. And that became such a drudgery and a repetitiveness, a mind-numbing, soul-killing experience that eventually I did step up to running my own business in construction. And I lived the normal life. I had the timeshare, I had the retirement fund, I had all of the normal stuff that everyone else does. But during the Great Recession of 2008, basically, I made some decisions to build quadruplexes for a particular individual who embezzled a great deal of money. And to make a long story short, in the process, I basically lost everything, having invested in 2 years of building, paying for materials, and paying for labor. And so I continued to get by doing little projects. I started helping people with alternative building projects for people who were just, quite frankly, in a better mental space than many people. And then I discovered AirCrete, and I traveled out of the country, spent about $3,000 to learn how to build with AirCrete, only to kind of be disappointed and not really get the deep knowledge that I needed to. But I was able to put two and two together with all of my conventional experience through both engineering and actual physical construction and general contracting, and AirCrete, which is also actually called cellular cement. It is a codified product. And I was able to get the data, put it together, and then start helping people build. And in the process of helping others build their lives and get their dreams, I started downsizing my life, partly out of necessity because of a reduced amount of money coming in, but also as a process of personal growth. And we've built the Trilingual School of Alternative Building here. Each one of these buildings here has been built by a workshop. We started building AirCrete and doing public workshops about 5 years ago now. But here on this site, this is just representing a year's worth of progress, basically. And in the process of downsizing life and moving into and living inside of an AirCrete building, it started a process. So when I say it ruined my life, it ruined my normal thinking, conventional public life that everyone else likes to live or hates to live but can't find a way out of it. AirCrete became the way that I got out of the rat race. And obviously, workshops help. That helps fund the project. But we built the initial buildings and we did all of that on a shoestring budget. And because our living expenses then got cut so low, there was no mortgage, there was no rent. The startup cost was about $6,000 for a small house. And in that process, it kicked off that personal development of realizing I could downsize, and each time I did, I became more happy. So my conventional life of living life and getting stuff and watching movies and paying attention to politics and all of the normal BS that's out there, I realized that letting all of that go made me immensely, immeasurably more happy than I had ever been. And so I just continued that path until eventually I sold everything that I had and I moved here on this site to start life completely over with basically nothing. And so we've built these structures through the workshops, and that helps others learn how to build their own AirCrete home, how to realize that dream of their own of being free from rent and mortgages. And even more than that, I want people to realize that the potential of owning your own home that you've built with your own hands is freedom. It is choice. It is control of your own life. Because when you get to a place where the world starts to fade away, the normal life fades away to have no real meaning, then you're not pursuing a bunch of stuff to be happy. You're free to spend your time as you choose. You're free to build your own business and create new businesses. your creative potential becomes unlocked. Your life becomes ever new. It's no longer repetitive drudgery that is boring. Instead, it becomes, or at least it became for me, a path of personal growth. And so AirCrete ruined conventional living for me as it enabled me to build my own home and get myself in a situation where I was able to grow and decompress and let go of all of the conventional garbage. And in that process, as my mindset to develop, I began to see more truth. I began to have time to actually think for myself, to set aside the media, to distance myself from all those things that ensnare and entrap everyone. And the low cost of having a structure with AirCrete is great, but it's the fact that you can build your own home with your own hands yourself. You don't have to have someone else do it. And that is the single biggest savings, no matter what type of house you might choose to build. You know, AirCrete is, according to the spreadsheet, building the walls is about 26% cheaper than a normal home. As far as the price of your home, it would obviously depend what are you going to put into it. You know, are you going to have tile floors? Are you going to have just laminate floor? Or are you going to put in cheap pre-made cabinets? Are you going to build your own from pine? Or are you going to pay a master cabinet maker to come in and build you walnut cabinets? So the price is highly variable depending on what you want. But as far as the base structure goes, you can actually save 26%. But that's not actually the reason that I would say makes AirCrete the best choice. It's the best choice because it's mold proof, which we had tons of mold and health problems living in moist eastern Texas. Everything molded, everything rotted, everything got mildew on it, everything needed regular maintenance. AirCrete doesn't have that problem. Also, you don't have the problems with pests. It's also fire resistant. If it happened to flood, it doesn't ruin your walls in your house whatsoever. And so, I mean, other than maybe the furniture inside. So these are the reasons that AirCrete appeals to me, but it was that process, that initial path of moving into home ownership without debt, and AirCrete enabled me to do that. And because I began that process of setting myself free from the system rather than waiting for salvation to come from the system who creates the controls and the problems, AirCrete trashed my desire entirely to ever live the normal life again. And to that end, we have a workshop coming up. You can click the link below in the description and check out our upcoming workshop. We're going to show you from ground up, from plumbing to foundation to putting up your walls, putting the roof on, to designing the structure to be engineered for safety so that you know that it works, and engineered for heating and cooling so that you know that it does in fact function in your climate and is strong and safe. We also show you how to do the heat load calculation so you can actually figure out how to size an air conditioning system for your house. And we're even going to show you how to put in a mini split air conditioning system and discuss the other options. We're going to cover, you know, alternative flush worm composting toilets, you know, odorless, no hassle. There's no having to carry buckets of poop out, but it's also more responsible than the conventional septic system, which pollutes groundwater, and it's enormously cheaper than aerobic systems that you would have to pay a licensed contractor to put in. And obviously this is alternative building, and many of these subjects are alternative, but you can certainly build an AirCrete house as loose infill insulation in a normal setting using all of the normal systems of support. But we are going to be covering how to do your electrical, how to design a solar system for your life. Exactly everything that you need to make a functional, livable house, either on grid or off grid, whichever you might choose. And it's the goal of these workshops to bring enough value that you can remove the doubt and build the confidence. And also, perhaps one of the greatest benefits is networking and meeting other people. We have a number of students from Arizona, for example, who lived in the same county, and they managed to link up and help one another build their houses. So the human connection with real like-minded people and the ability to network is priceless. But because of the state of affairs in the world and where my heart is, I want to also add more value to that workshop. So there's a second week that has no additional cost, where we cover basically homesteading skills. We're going to cover what it actually takes to produce 80 to 100% of all of your own healthy, chemical, poison-free food for yourself. We're going to talk about how to build an online business. We're going to discuss a number of subjects that involve, grasping the state of legal affairs in this country. So many people are completely ignorant and powerless before this big monstrous system that wants to consume everything. They want to take everything from you so that you own nothing, and they want to control you, and they're going to demand that you be happy about it. But certainly it's only they who are going to be happy. So I want to introduce you to how to legally reduce your taxes, how to create and set your own law and enforce that, how to recognize the fraud that is the system. And so, at one time, I heard someone say, and I think I even saw a meme recently that said something to the effect of, once I would fight and die for my country, and now I have to to protect my family from my country. And that is where this is going, because you can't have communism without democracy, forgetting that we were a republic. And words have meanings. Some of the most ridiculous things, it's like legalese being its own language. So we put ourselves into contracts unknowingly, and they absolutely pound us because we give them permission, and we have no idea how to set and control our own law. So we also begin to lay a foundation so that you can then go and discover for yourself what the truth may be. And it certainly is a subject that I don't think can be neglected anymore. We've reached a point that was very similar to the time before the original revolution. And I would even suggest it's time to no longer keep revolving back into the same thing, but it's time to change ourselves from within, build a better life for ourselves, and build the world we want to see, to always be able to do this in peace and love and gratitude, and enjoy the freedom that comes with a lifestyle where we take the responsibility for all the subject matters of our life. Now, obviously, that can be an infinite variability depending on who you are. If you hate growing food and gardens, but you're really good at money making, maybe you're better off running a business and being in community with someone who does produce chemical-free, poison-free food for you. Maybe you're better off if you're disabled or getting up there in age to simply know what needs to be done and hire some common labor to actually put your structures together. Maybe you're better off networking with other people. For example, many people who come to the workshops are having a hard time finding land where they want with like-minded people. And maybe you have land and you would be willing to give someone or sell someone or lease someone a distant edge or corner of your land in exchange for building your house first. So you got to think that there's many options out there, and that the solutions are endless if we take responsibility and govern ourselves. And so it's my goal to bring an overwhelming amount of value to these workshops so that you at least are aware of the options so that you can build the life that's right for you. Because certainly not everybody wants to live the same way. Not everybody needs the same thing to be happy the right way. But just to kind of kick you off on a path, start writing down everything that you want in your life, and then go through each and every one of those items that you write down and ask yourself, if I had this, what would that do for me? And then write that down. And then say, and if I had that, what would that do for me? And if I had that, what would that do for me? And keep asking that question to yourself until you come to a base emotional thing, usually something like love, peace, joy, or something along those lines, or it begins to loop on itself with your answer. And then go to the next item on your list. And very often what you'll find is what you actually want has very little to do with what you think you need. And so it's topics like this that we will introduce during this workshop. So again, the first 7 days of the workshop, we're going to be building from the ground up an AirCrete mini house or tiny house. And That's going to include in morning sessions doing the physical work. That way you've got the experience, the repetition, and you've had the hands-on. You removed all doubt because you've done it. You know that you can do it again. And then in the evening sessions, we're going to be covering the other topics like the engineering for all aspects of the structure, the worm composting, the solar power design. Basically, in the evening sessions, all of the skills and things you need to know to not just make a shell of a house, but to make that house a home, a functional, living, comfortable place to be. And you can come and go anytime during that. And if you want to attend the second week, again, it's optional, and right now it's free, but it's basically a course on off-grid homesteading, how to basically build your own systems of support instead of depending upon the super wealthy who own and control all the resources, and they do have the right to tell you you can or can't have something because it's their system. And as long as you are beholden to their systems and their resources, and you don't know how to build your own food systems, your own energy systems, your own security, and you don't know how to build your own online business and create money without a job, then you are a slave and you are beholden to these people who would and do and are controlling you. And the only way that you can get out of that is if you take responsibility for yourself and you govern yourself and do all things in love and peace, and you would be amazed at how your life becomes redefined and how, quite likely, like me, your life would be ruined by learning how to build AirCrete, because you're in danger of setting yourself free. I encourage you to click the link below in the description. Come and learn more. I look really forward to meeting you. There's just so many great people that come to these events. Let's get moving. Let's get building. While we still have some semblance of resources available, it's just so much easier to tap into what's available. But whether you have little or you have a lot, there's always a way to make this happen, and we're going to set time aside, a couple of evenings, as an open forum to discuss and cover whatever topics are on your hearts and minds, so that every issue is addressed. So I look forward to seeing you at the workshop. Thank you for your time. Have a great and wonderful day. Namaste.
Are we good? Can I go? Okay. So yeah, this course was just, it was way more than I ever thought like it could be, on all different levels. Like the building itself was way more than I thought it would be, even though you gave us, you even said everything we were going to do. You know, we're going to learn this, we're going to learn that, we're going to learn this. But then when we actually start learning it, the depths that you shared was more than I thought it was going to be. Like the way that you taught it, in a way that was so, you know, just like patient and open and understanding on what anyone's level was. Like, I don't think there was never a moment where I think anyone felt stupid for not knowing something we were talking about, you know, because you were so open of a teacher and so compassionate of a teacher. So as far as like the building things goes, like when you say from beginning to end, like you meant it, you know, and we've left. I mean, I don't understand why anyone would leave the second week unless they just really couldn't, but like you should make a point to stay the second week, because you get to actually then see it more finished and see how like possible it is. So there's that level of the class, that it was just more information than I thought I was ever going to leave with. And then there's just like the spiritual aspect of the class, everyone being on a similar spiritual path. And that's what it all is like we're all on a path. And seeing somebody else's way of looking at it, like help opening your perspective, and learning from the students, the other students themselves. Like everyone was just learning all the time about so many different things. It wasn't just a place to come and learn how to build the house. Like it was a place to come and learn how to build yourself, you know? And that was more than I bargained for. But like in a really welcome place. It definitely in where I am in my own personal life, this was exactly what I needed. To see that other people are out there like valuing this and trying to build a new reality, like build a new world. And I really do think that this is part of the revolution, and these are real tools. These are real accessible and forgiving tools, no matter what your pocketbook is, no matter what your constructive background is. Like this is something that's attainable for just about everybody, no matter where you are. And that's something really special. Like you don't really have that in any of the other things. And the speed that it can go up with is such a game changer, you know, as far as things happen really quick, you know, and how quickly you can shelter people with this is really important. And so, yeah, it was just a multifaceted experience that went into way more depth on all of the levels than I thought that it would. And yeah, I just feel like extremely blessed to have been a part of it, and I just really can't wait to see what I end up doing with it and how I can end up helping myself and helping others and sharing with this with as many people as possible, you know, because I think that it really can make a grand difference in the big picture of everyone's life. You know, everything's just logistics, and this helps with the bottom rung of Maslow's hierarchy and the logistics behind that, and that's a game changer, you know. So yeah, this is like a highly recommended course for anybody if you're interested in changing the game for, you know, for yourself, for the collective. So I just want to say thanks.
Come make yourself a couple of friends. No matter the weather, you'll live safely in your AirCrete shelter. We're leaving Babylon and Rome for your true home. Come build with me. Let's build a new reality. Yeah, let's build a world we want to see. Come and build with me. Any shape, any size, any piece of land, small or wide. From tiny homes to communes with domes, all across the land. Yes, we can live free with AirCrete. Come and build with me with AirCrete.